So yesterday, Umusume released their June schedule, and at first I wasn't surprised. We knew that everything here was coming, right? But then I looked at the dates more closely and oh boy. Understandably, a lot of players are worried that they'll have to remake their aces because everyone else will, yada yada. I'm definitely going to touch on that, but mainly this video is kind of an excuse to talk about the Throne card. But first, just to get it out of the way, I have some thoughts about the Taiki card and why she actually won't be that scary. So on paper, it is an amazing card, right? It drops a great mild gold skill, it has great hint, it has great stats. But there are a couple things holding it back. For one, this is a backline meta CM, which means that enclosures with Spurt will not be making use of Mild Maven. And already there's just no reason to use this card on them over Narita Top Road or Kisan Black. But frontrunners you would think would make great use of this card, right? Professor of Curvature is too good to give up most of the time on this track, but Mild Maven can let you take angling and scheming by speeding up in that mid-race, while Firm Course Menace can't do that. But there are some problems with that idea, one of them being most notably the 5 race bonus difference. For frontrunners, especially on Mild, where there are so many extra skills like Speed Eater and Unyielding Spirit and stuff to grab, they require a ton of skill points, and ideally you want 60 or 65 race bonus. And I imagine most frontrunner decks look something like this, at least for Summer Maru and Saiyan Sky. Summer Maru already has Mild Maven, so let's take her out of the equation. But Saiyan Sky also can't reasonably drop any of these 10 race bonus or 15 race bonus cards here. If you do drop anything here, you will be going down to either 55 race bonus, or if you drop one of the 5 race bonus cards, you're losing something else important, which basically will become about equal to running the Taiki card. But for Valentine Mihono Bourbon, she can't run the Bourbon Wood card, right? So that makes Mild Maven good on her? Well, yeah, if you have a strong deck, that is. Because if you do drop Bourbon for a speed card, you now need a second Wood card, which means that you have to replace one of the power cards with only 15 race bonus with the only 15 race bonus Wood card being Nice Nature. And sure, you don't need Final, you get the 10 race bonus from Tachyon or something, but it still requires you to own 3 out of 4 of these cards, being Kita, Narita Top Road, Nice Nature, and Taiki Shuttle. And most players just have Kita-san Black, plus Narita Top Road and Fine Motion, or just Kita and Finemo. You could also sub out Top Road for Taiki and replace Bourbon with Tachyon, but again, we're only seeing a marginal difference in power here, because a front with Firm Course Menace and the white version Protective Plan is basically the same as one with Mild Maven and no Firm Course Menace in terms of your power. And of course there's some nuance to that, like Firm Course Menace having better late game and Mild Maven with mid game, but I think you get the points. This isn't wildly changing the meta too much to be scared about, especially since we're also not taking into account that players might be running weird decks to meet the Guts stat threshold. The only Uma that does get a significant buff in my opinion with this card is Kita-san Black herself. Since she can't run the Curvature card, Taiki will be a good stand-in to provide that gold skill. Okay, but Mr. Funko, what if I have a weaker deck? I have no Kita, or Top Road, or whatever, so borrowing this fits my deck. Well, go ahead and do so. But, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but a Sweep Tosho guy getting a good gold skill isn't really scaring me into remaking an ace last minute. Why would I stress myself over some minor optimization to be made? It just makes no sense here. And this card doesn't even matter to me, my team is buns. I'm running 2 enclosures and this chopped front over, and I have to borrow the Bourbon Wood card anyway for taking the lead. But anyway, you're probably thinking I'm insane and you should listen to me after revealing the front Dober situation. So let's move on to what we're here to talk about, which is the Throne's Assemblage. Everyone has been saying this card was super broken for Trackblazer, but luckily it was contained to, the Sprint Slop CM, where it wouldn't matter much anyways. But unfortunately, it will drop during the medium CM. I haven't really thought about it too much, it's probably dropping round 2 or something. And I am honestly way more worried about this card than Taiki, and mainly again for frontrunners. In the borrow slot, fronts would normally just bum a 10 race bonus power card, here Helios for Escape Artist or L for Killer Tunes. But this can just slot in nicely as the borrow slot and give free stuff to do on dead turns with the dates, and the gold version of medium corners without relying on the Helios chain. I believe that can fail to give Escape Artist. And it also gives Prudent Positioning, a very good skill for frontrunners, especially considering dodging danger is the easier one to get via rifle races, and just a bunch of skill points and wits that frontrunners love. But I just really don't hear many people talking about frontrunners, because for some reason everyone is scared of Christmas Ogre with Double Dominator running this card. And at first glance, it might make sense, right? But the more I think about it, the more pointless this card feels to me. And I may be stupid for this, but I just don't see how this helps Ogre much at all. And to explain that, first we need to take a look at this one that I made yesterday. Now, first of all, I know Radiant Star is there. I see you writing that comment. Okay, stop that. I have my reasons for it, but this isn't the video for me to explain why I think that it's a statistically worthwhile gamble to make. Let's do our best to ignore the Radiant Star in the room right now. And I maxed out Speed, Power, and Wits. The only 3 stats that really matter here, and that the only 3 stats the Throne card would affect is the Speed and Wit, really. And after I bought every single skill that I cared about, I had 1.1k skill points left over. 1,100. I was so down bad for skills that I had to grab Radiant Star and double circle everything and buy random skills like Subdued Frontrunners. You could say that I could just get luckier and have more skills to buy, but let's be real, even if my SSRs dropped their golds and I got Ramp Up, PTO, and Slipstream from an Inspiration, and Tail Held High, I would still have like 300 extra skill points. So how exactly would this card have changed anything at all? Like, Speed, Wit, and skill points, I already had more than I needed, this wouldn't have helped me there. And this was only with 50 race bonus. I used to be a 60 race bonus player, but I'd always have so many extra skill points, and now I just go for 50 and try to get cards with better skills in hopes that I can just actually use all my skill points. But for the thought experiment, let's even say that I owned Kitasan Black and I could borrow the Throne's Assemblage and have both in my deck. Even then, what am I even getting by doing this? Upgrading my medium corners from double circle to gold? That's a 0.1 speed increase. Like, man, I'll take it, but it's really going to have such a little impact on anything, I feel like it's negligible to talk about it. I guess this is just a really long-winded way to say, do not overthink these drops. Most people you face will not be using these cards in CM, and if they do, they seriously can't be that much stronger than their original decks, right? Don't let yourself be scared by people saying that these drops are absolutely meta-defining. And yeah, I still haven't done the CM guide I was going to today, but decided on making this video instead, because, you know, that drop kind of scared me a bit. So hopefully I could get the CM guide out soonish anyway. But that's about it. See ya.